Up next is the CEO Strategic Workshop. And right now we're going to read the citation of our guest speaker. And I would like my co-compere to please do justice to that. Let's go.
I'm going to crave the indulgence of Mr. Ziad Maalouf to please come forward as I read your citation, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Ziad Malouf's journey at 7-Up Bottling Company began in 2008 as National Sales and Distribution Manager, swiftly advancing to Chief Operating Officer in 2014, and ultimately assuming the role of Managing Director in April 2017, achieving a company's record for his rapid ascent. His executive career includes impactful roles at prominent organizations like Procter Gamble, Cadbury, Diageo, Unilever, and Johnson & Johnson, where he honed his leadership skills and commitment to excellence. Mr. Maloof is renowned for his belief in transformative growth and has actively mentored numerous individuals who have progressed from modest roles to significant executive positions under his guidance. His passion for innovation in Nigeria is evident in his leadership of the SME SCALE-UP, a pioneering initiative aimed at equipping small and medium enterprises with the tools necessary to thrive in today's business environment. This initiative is poised to positively impact 1 million Nigerians through the enhanced employment opportunities by 2035. Academically, Mr. Maloof holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and MBA from American University of Beirut, complemented by his executive program at prestigious institutions as Harvard Business School, Stanford University, and London Business School. Beyond his corporate achievements, he serves as chairman of the FBRA, Food Beverage Recycling Alliance, underscoring his commitment to sustainability and environmental stewardship. Ziad Maloof stands as an exemplary leader dedicated to driving growth, fostering innovations, and making a lasting impact in Nigeria and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Ziad Maloof.
Thank you, dear. Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm not very good in protocols, so I will start immediately the presentation. I come here to you with bad news and good news. Which one would you like me to start with? Bad news. I love the answer. The bad news is while I was at school at university, my fellow students did not leave any grades for me when it came to biology and chemistry. So my grades were the lowest in the class. If any one of you expects that I will add to your medical knowledge, please don't set your hopes high. But that being said, I was the #1 student when it comes to math, to business, to physics. So for the next 1 hour, I would like you to forget the medical side of your business and just focus on business itself. I will start first. RM, we need the presentation there. Yes, now we have the presentation. The topic of the presentation is sustainability. Maybe sometimes we have the wrong understanding of what a sustainable business means. A sustainable business is not a business that is going on and on and on and on. It is a business that is growing and growing and growing and growing. For the simple reason, if we don't grow our business and we stay the same while all others are growing, effectively we are going backwards. So, while you are growing your business, life will slap you and slap you again and again. And successful people are the ones that take those slaps, take them as learnings, and keep going. So, we are talking about creation and capture of value. when we talk about business, this is the most important concept. How do we capture value? And by value, mean what is the money that comes to us after paying everything? And value is split in three parts. The first part is the part that you use to cover all your expenses. The second part is the part that you use for your personal needs. You take out of your business. But the third part is the most important part. It's the value that you reinvest in your business so that your business grows bigger and bigger and bigger. The problem with most of small companies is they reach stage one, hopefully they cover their overheads, they cover their personal needs, but they are left with no money to grow the business. And this is where sustainability stops. So, it's no secret when I say all big companies or most big companies start small. But not all small companies grow big. The factors that dictate that is the path or the business strategy a company decides on and the will of the owner. Now, since you are a highly educated audience, RM, I would like to start by asking you a question. Who knows a company called Amazon? Raise your hands. Now, wow. Who knows a company called Trolley Express? You have been with me before. So we have, everybody knows Amazon, but one person knows Trolley Express. That Trolley Express had the same concept of Amazon. It started exactly like Amazon. Back. So it started exactly like Amazon, same business model, home delivery of supermarket items, other items to the houses. 2 years before Amazon. Please, RM, we can go to that slide before. What happened there? Today, as we speak, Amazon is valued at $2.1 trillion. Trolley Express went bankrupt. Same business model, same idea, same everything. So, we take that company called Trolley Express as a lesson that I call value destruction. That company did everything to destroy value. One of the things it did is the owner, when he started it, he gave out 51% of that company to partners. One of the biggest companies, one of the biggest banks went there and took 51% of the company. That was the first value destruction. The second thing that happened and destroyed value is that company at the top had a total cultural misfit. And because the leadership on top were not working together, lots of ideas did not happen. That company gave lots of wrong promises. One of them is if we don't deliver to you in 3 hours, you get your order free of charge. Now, wow, that was a total value destruction concept. Another thing is that because it came before Amazon, the internet was not very strong. So that company, Trolley Express, developed a 600-page book with all supermarket items in it, fully advertised. And that company gave a promise that they will print 50,000 catalogs. Now give a guess of 50,000 catalogs multiplied by 600 pages. That commitment was bloody massive. It locked all the cash. What they were getting as discounts, and I'm sure this sounds familiar to you, as discounts from their suppliers was extremely low. So the money they were getting from their suppliers was not able to cover the overheads. Their operational costs were extremely high. The problem is they got locked with the case. The more customers and the more business they get, the more money they lose. And last but not least, there was no monthly subscription. So theoretically, the income of that company much smaller than the expenses. And what happens there? Company shut down. Owner was stuck with $1.6 million of personal debts. All his friends abandoned him. Everything bad happened. Partners went out. Friends disappeared. Phone calls only for people asking for money. So how bad can things go? And this is what happens when you decide deliberately to destroy value. As we said before, that life will slap you once, slap you twice, slap you 3 times. These slaps can either kill you or they can make you much, much, much stronger. Now, this is the owner of that company that went and collapsed. And that owner is myself. This is my story around 20 years ago. Left with $1.6 million of personal debt. No friends, no nothing, no partners, struggling to survive. But that made me what I am today. And I'm doing my best to share my experiences with you because I don't wish that experience even to my enemies. So, after finishing from all that, I went intensely into executive education. I attended all those universities. I worked with the biggest companies in the world. And now, as we speak, I am the managing director of 7-Up Bottling Company. I'm the chairman of the Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance, which is an alliance of all CEOs in the industry. I'm the chairman. And recently, a year ago, I started a new company called SME SCALE-UP. The objective of that company is to take small startups and make them big. Nigerian indigenous startups. And we have a lot of success stories. The main thing about this company was it was built on the love for Niger. And we said, if I can share all the experiences I went through, get all the CEOs into that journey to pass their experiences, all entrepreneurs would avoid the mistakes we have done. If we tell you about our mistakes, we are telling you directly and indirectly, don't do the same. Avoid that. So, for the last 1 year, I worked with around 2,000 plus SMEs from all industries. We have around 40 or 50, they already moved out of the space of SMEs. They are doing a revenue monthly of billions. And the objective we have, or the objective I set for this company is in 1 year from now, through the growth of SMEs, I want to say this SME scale-up helped in creating jobs for 1 million Nigerians. So, what is my experience with Nigerian SMEs? And please don't get offended. This I can support by facts. The first thing is all SMEs enjoy buying at the most expensive price. So they buy their raw materials or whatever it is extremely high, which adds a lot to their costs. The second part they do, I don't know in the pharmaceutical space, but the SMEs that are in industries, they do their best to sell at the cheapest price so that we don't lose customers and we don't upset customers. And again, we say, now, wow. Based on buying at a very high price and selling at a very low price, we make money small. If we make money. Then what happens after that is, strange enough, we destroy value personally. We are buying at an expensive price. We are selling low. Then After destroying that value, we complain. And what I will show you in the next slide is a summary of the 2,000 SMEs that I worked with. Why do they say they are making no money or small money? Look at this. 80% of SMEs say we are not growing up our business because there's no cash. And the question I always ask them, guys, the cash you had, what are you doing with it? Why are you destroying it? So if you are not making enough money, if I give you money, you will destroy it. As simple as this. Now, I will take a small break and give you an example of one of our SMEs. A real life story. All of them fall in the same trap, but this guy was extreme in destroying value. I took his permission to play his video, and he was so happy to share all the mistakes he has done.
My name is Precious Kayode Fomato. I'm the CEO of Fomato Industries Limited. Fomato Industries Limited is an agric business. We process cassava into finished products like fufu, and recently we're branching into starch. I met Mr. Ziad Maalouf last year, and it was at a GoodCon event, VI, and he came and was presenting on SME SCALE-UP community and the testimonial of the Mauritius oil founders and how they've grown from 30 million, what they learned, and to almost $1 billion monthly in revenue. I was inspired and I needed to learn. I was a struggling entrepreneur who was making fufu and we were not selling well. There was no enough salaries to pay even founders. And 5 minutes, Mr. Ziad fixed my company's P&L. The problem was just right there in front of me. I could not see it. And in 5 minutes, he saw it. What was the problem? 3 major things. Our cost of purchases, but production was very high. And at that time, we were buying at.
I'll brief you about the story of that guy. That is one of the SMEs that worked with me. I called him for a one-on-one business, and he said he wants to grow his sales. The first question I asked him, what is your cost of material? And he said, I buy a bag for 9,000 naira. I said, excellent. What do you do after that? He said, I convert it and then I sell it at 9,500 naira. Now, wow, now if you want to grow your business, you will be losing more money. So I told the guy, sorry, I cannot help you grow your business. Go back. I gave him a 1-hour training how to negotiate. Go back. Unless you can drop your cost to 6,000 naira, don't come back to me again. I don't want to see your face if you cannot drop the cost to 6,000. The guy was so scared of me. I can be a bully sometime. So that guy went and he started negotiating. For him, you know the Niger way of negotiations. We start 10, you start 2, and then we meet somewhere in the middle. So he went and started negotiating from the first price of 3,000 naira. So he went to his suppliers, yes, I'm buying from you at 9,000, now I want to buy at 3,000. Who can guess at what price he closed the deal? 5,000. Any better price? He closed the deal at 3,800 naira. So, if we tell that guy, go borrow money from the bank, and he went and got money from the bank or his friends or whatever, and he puts it in a business where the cost is 9,000, after conversion it's 9,500, all that money will disappear. Now that guy dropped his price from 9,000 to 3,800. It did not stop here. That was the first step. The second step, after he came back to me, now he's happy. He said it, I wish the video worked well. He said it was a miracle. For him, yes, it was a miracle, but I was not happy then. I said, okay, now you have dropped your cost. How can you increase your price? And you know fufu is a very big commodity. I told him, now how can you make fancy fufu? So he took that fufu in that nylon bag and he added to it a brand new label on top, made it look very fancy. And he increased his price from 100 to 150. Did not change anything. The contents are the same, but he just gave it a brand new look. And now customers are willing to pay 150 naira instead of 100. In simple business terms, he dropped his cost by 60%. He increased his price by 50%. What happens to his profitability? That guy was not selling anything. Now I was with him discussing with some suppliers to buy a brand new line for manufacturing because he cannot cope with the demand anymore. And the question is, this is one extreme case. I'm sure all of you live that every day. If I come to your business and negotiate prices on your behalf, the prices will be lower. You are destroying value. The prices you are selling, if I come and tell you try a higher price and you try it, it will work. So you are all destroying a lot of value. I need to teach you a bit about what value means. There's something called willingness to pay. It is not the price you sell, it's the price your consumer is willing to pay. I always, whenever I'm training SMEs, I give the example of tennis shoes. 3 people want to go and walk together in Banana Island, and they don't have a tennis shoes. They want to go and buy a tennis shoes. One of them will buy a tennis shoes from Onitsha, 10,000 naira. Another one will buy a Nike, 150,000 naira. A crazy person like me will buy a Prada, 2 million naira. Now we are walking together. Who's faster? It's the same. It is the same speed, but the willingness to pay for a Prada is higher than a Nike, and for a Nike higher than an Onitsha shoe. Why is that? It is simple. All of us function on what we call functional willingness to pay. You want a tennis shoes, you need something to wear so that you can walk. Excellent. People will not pay more. But what about the social and emotional willingness to pay? Social means I'm the CEO of 7-Up. I'm going to a big event with VIP people. What would people say about me if I'm wearing a tennis shoes of 10,000 naira? I will be hiding my shoes somewhere so that nobody sees it. And this is where lots of companies are so smart that they play on the social and emotional willingness to pay, which takes the willingness for the customer. The customers are willing to pay more. That guy of fufu, what he did was he took a commodity, just made it look fancier. Now people enjoy in front of their friends. You buy this normal fufu, look at me, I buy this fancy product. That's all. And that's where people were willing to pay 50% more. Let us do a test. My sister, can you join me here? Yes. Assume you are sitting on your computer and you see a flyer like this. SME Scale-Up is doing a one-day workshop and you have to pay for it. Assume. You just see this part, what would you pay? Apart from the first thought that this is a 419. You don't know what SME Scale-Up is. You don't know anything. How much will you pay to attend?
Maybe 10,000.
10,000 naira. Very good price. At least she did not say that's a 419. Now, if you see this added to it, that it is full of personalized assessments, strategic insights, you might get funding there, and you will get lots of networking. Would you be willing to pay a bit more?
Yeah. Depending on what.
This is what you saw. willing to pay now?
Maybe I can do 50.
Now, yeah, so good. Let's continue. Now, this is in collaboration with Zenith Bank, United Nations, 7-Up, and Right Foods. How much are you willing to pay now?
100.
Now, we moved from 10,000 to 100,000. And now, a main speaker is Henry Oro, who is the executive director of Zenith Bank. And you are thinking about getting a loan for your business.
I'll still stop at 100.
You stick at 100. Now think a lot before you answer the last one. Otherwise, I'll be offended. This is the main speaker. The MD of 7-Up, the chairman of FIBRA, all this education, all this. Say 100.
Okay, I'll do 150.
Hey! Moral of the story, my value was 50,000 naira, guys. My sister now, what didn't happen? Thank you very much. So if you see one thing, it's the same workshop, it's the same material, it's the same everything. She went from 10,000 to 150, very generous of her. But moral of the story, even if she went from 10,000 to 20,000, that is just doubling the willingness to pay. And this is the important part. So, with our guy of Fufu, we saw how we can increase willingness to pay because of a change in the product. SME Scale-Up shows us how we can increase willingness to pay in an industry of services. That being said, what we do, madam, don't worry, SME Scale-Up is free of charge, so you don't pay for it. But I just took it as an example. On the other side, there is what we call opportunity cost. So there's the willingness to pay of the consumer and the opportunity cost, which is the other side. What is the cost that your supplier is willing to pull out of the table? So if you buy something at 5,000 naira, your supplier would be making a lot of money because he was willing to sell at 3,000 naira. One day I was in Lekki Market, you know where they sell those statues. I went ahead and I saw a nice statue. I asked the guy how much. He said 20,000 naira. I said no, 2,000 naira. And after long negotiations, I was so proud I bought it at 6,000 naira. Can you imagine? Give me a big round of applause now. I don't know how God has his ways. Next week, I was having dinner at my friend's house. I go there, it's the same statue, same everything. And I looked at him, how much did you buy this? And the answer was 3,000 naira. So, it's the same statue, same everything. The difference is that supplier was willing to sell maybe at 2,000 naira. But we bought higher. Now, the tricky part is how do I know what is the last price the supplier is going to give? And the closer to that cost, the more value I will make. So this shows the equation. The difference between willingness to pay and opportunity cost is the maximum value you can make, which is the ultimate best opportunity. Where we always fall is the upper one, where what we do is we buy more expensive than the opportunity cost and we sell less than the willingness to pay, and effectively our value capture goes smaller and smaller and smaller. Some of us have their gap much smaller than that. So value creation, the total value is willingness to pay times the units minus opportunity cost. The actual value we capture is the selling price we set, which is much lower than the willingness to pay. Then we subtract from it the cost of goods which we buy at much higher than the opportunity cost. And that's why the upper part of the chart is much smaller than the lower part. So, if we zoom in, I'm not an expert in pharmacies, but I said, let me do my best to try to understand if I decide to open a pharmacy tomorrow, what will I do? There are 4 factors that relate to the opportunity cost. How can I reduce my opportunity cost as a pharmacist? One of them, the most important one, is the negotiating power. If I have one small pharmacy somewhere, my negotiating power is so small. A supplier will come to me and say, this is my price, take it or leave it. If I'm a big chain, I can say that the supplier cannot tell me, take it or leave it. A MedPlus now, if a supplier is not into MedPlus, just without giving names, I'm just giving, the supplier will think 100 times before they pull out of a table with a big chain. And this is why big chains can get a much better price than small chains. So the first thing is negotiating power, which in many cases it's not to your advantage. The second one, to reduce cost, is have shared services. If I want to open a small pharmacy tomorrow, I need to do everything myself. I need to have an accountant. I need to have a software. I need to have this. The question is, why don't I share with some other pharmacies? And the cost will go down drastically. The third one is having a private label. But again, small pharmacies cannot do that. But a private label removes all the value of the name. If we look at a Pepsi, if I want to sell a Pepsi without the label Pepsi, the price will go down. It has to go down. But private labels, unfortunately, cannot be done unless you are a massive chain. And definitely tech is a way to reduce my costs. So if I want to open a pharmacy, these are the 4 things I would do to reduce my opportunity cost. These are the things that we can do as pharmacists to increase the willingness to pay. Giving a good experience for customers that come in, giving extended services, labs, medical doctors, whatever it is, doing partnerships with others, online banking, range, all those things help a lot in making the customer prefer to come to you, not to somebody else. And the third biggest circle, which again improves the willingness to pay, but it's very expensive, is increasing your stock levels so that you never get out of stock. You provide convenience. So instead of having one pharmacy here, you have pharmacies all across. Again, it creates trust, but it's a very high cost. Doing lots of marketing. Again, would I be able to do marketing for one pharmacy only? If I want to do big marketing that makes an impact, no one pharmacy single-headed would be able to change that. Then we can have exclusive brands. We take the franchise of brands that are somewhere either produced locally or outside, and we take their franchise. That gives us the power to dictate the price. Then we do loyalty programs and we create trust through all the above. The question is, can you do that individually? And this is where we always get stuck. I'm one pharmacy. If I look at the list that Ziad presented, I can do 1 or 2 because I don't have enough cash. And in pharmacies, like any other business, this is how the business looks. I always do it for companies, but we have a small pharmacy that at some point in time can be eaten by a bigger pharmacy. And a bigger pharmacy can be eaten by a chain, and the chain can be eaten by a national chain. And then there's a risk that all of you don't see yet, but it's a risk that might come, and that is global chains. If they come here, they will do a much better negotiation than you. They have the power, they have the muscles, and people will enjoy going there because that's a British. I don't know why we always prefer outside companies to local companies, but they will be able to charge more money and get lower cost. Your picture would look like this. I did a small simulation. Assume the average of your business is the willingness to pay per item or average per item is 6,000, while your cost, the minimum opportunity cost is 3,000. This is how it looks like for the different categories of pharmacies I spoke about. So, sales would be smaller for small pharmacies. Next. The price per unit, customers will be willing to pay for global chain or national chains more than what they will pay in a single pharmacy. Because there's a brand name. So if the willingness to pay is 6,000, consumers will go and pay 6,000 for that item from a global chain. But if they come to a small pharmacy by the side, they will not be willing to pay that. So effectively, I took a simulation number and I saw willingness to pay going down by chain. Go down. The opportunity cost will go up when we move from big mega chains to small individual ones. So if a global chain can buy at 3,000 naira, a small pharmacy will buy at 3,800. Just an assumption, which means if we continue to the last stage, if we do a profit and loss, a very small pharmacy will be making 8% profit. A chain, a global chain, will be making 46% profit on a much bigger volume, which means if at any point in time the bigger wants to eat the smaller, they can easily do it. And this is where pharmacies should start taking attention that at some point in time things will evolve in a way that if we don't evolve with it, we would be subject to be eaten by others. Unfortunately, I believe all of you agree. I always say to my team, we live in a jungle. If we are not lions, we are lion feet. So it's up to us to decide what do we want to be. Finally, my recommendations to you, I tried to put it in a stylish way and called it pharma. The first one is, if I was a pharmacy, I would start thinking about partnering with other pharmacies. Not necessarily sharing equity, but partnering activities together. The second one is, we need to harmonize tech. I know that tech solutions are individualized a lot. So if each one of you as pharmacies will go sit with a tech company to develop your own tech software, the customization will be expensive. The best way is to have multiple pharmacies creating a certain software for all of them that could be used by each individually. But the cost will go down significantly. The third one that I always speak with my chairman about is at some point in time, if I have 20 individual small pharmacies, they cannot buy at a good price. And they are at a big disadvantage. There should be a central hub to purchase so that you can negotiate bigger volumes, better prices. And unless you do that, you are subject to being eaten by lions. A fourth one, because it's not the first time, even in my SME scale-up or one-on-one sessions, I met a lot with pharmacies. I know that you have lots of stocks that go expired. But the problem is we have sometimes one product that is about to get expired in my place, but my brother there badly needs it. So instead of us saying, he's my competitor, he's my enemy, if I give it to him, it will be sold and I will not have any damages. One thing I proposed once to the chairman, and you might not like, but I will still propose it, is why don't we have a one-name umbrella? 100 pharmacies go under a one-name umbrella. Look at it from hotel perspectives. We have Intercontinental Group. They have Holiday Inn, they have Intercon, they have 6, I don't know what. They have 100 names of hotels under the same umbrella group. What this does is it keeps the independence of the individual pharmacies, but it gives the trust to the consumer of a bigger chain. And this is something I strongly recommend to do. Might be difficult, might be stopped by our own selfishness. No, I don't want to work with her, I don't want to work with him, but customers need trust. And last but not least, a joint loyalty program. You cannot do a loyalty program for one pharmacy, but 6, 7, 10 pharmacies can join hands together into a one loyalty program where if I'm in Ikoyi or I'm in Surelere, I'm in Mushin, I can benefit from those points. So, just to conclude, these are ideas that would increase your value capture. When you increase your value capture, you cover your overheads, you cover your personal needs, and you have enough money to invest into growth after growth after growth. And this growth has to come through improvements you do to your business. If you don't have this growth, this money to grow and change, your business will never grow and others will be overgrowing you. Thank you very much. It was such a pleasure being with you.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I think he deserves a standing ovation. Let's make some noise. Great.
A big now, wow now.
Ah, wow. Please, I don't know if you permit us to entertain 2 questions.
I have all my time.
All right, so quickly. Any question? Yes. Just go straight to the point, sir.
Thank you very much, my speaker, sir. We have had a lot of theory classes, and we are at the point of going practical. We'll be interested in linking up with you for practical sessions. Thank you very much, sir.
It will be.
Will you be available for us, sir?
I told you initially that my vision in SME Scale-Up is to help facilitate creation of jobs for 1 million Nigerians. If you have this commitment, you want to grow and employ more Nigerians, I have all my time for you.
Thank you very much, sir.
We have Ify here and RM there. You can exchange contacts with them.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. That was a very interesting lecture you just delivered. Now, my question is, you talked about partnership. And I know that one of the fears we have basically is that when we want to partner with colleagues, we also want to maintain certain standards. So in creating that standards, how do you think we can go? Such that I want to partner with somebody. I have my pharmacy in Dokpemu. I don't know if you know where Dokpemu is. And I want to partner with somebody in Ikoyi. And the person is worried that, okay, how does the standard cut across such that they know that it's the value is providing in Ikoyi that I'm providing in Dokpemu, and then we can partner and make the value cut across. Thank you very much, sir.
Extremely good question. We need to look at things differently. Some people see this gap in terms of standards as a handicap. Others see it as a strength. And I gave the example of the Intercontinental Group of hotels. They have an Intercontinental where you can pay $700, $800 a night. They have Six Flags hotels where you can pay $2,000 a night. And they have a Holiday Inn Express in the same group where you can pay $50 a night. What they offer is, they offer diversity. So it's not supposed to be exactly the same as long as we qualify the differences. If a customer is willing to pay X, our group offers this. If the customer is willing to pay Y, our group can offer this. So we need to look at this diversity you are talking about, whether in standards or areas or anything, as something enriching that alliance. And we are not saying that you should melt together and partner together. It's just an alliance where you can use a mother name and then the other standard names. So you keep your identity. Don't melt into others.
Thank you. All right, so please, before we take the next set of questions, please, the next master class, a link has been sent to the group. Check the ACPN group. Let's fill the form, and then so that when they come up, we understand what we are talking about. Please, the link has been sent for us to fill up our details quickly. So permit me to take two on this side.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Yes, so I watched one of your videos on SME scale-up disorder, and in that video you mentioned the SME scale-up program. So I went to the site to register, but I discovered that you have certain criteria, like revenues per month. So I'm asking that for some of us who are here who may be interested in the next cohort that is starting this month, can we still apply even though we don't meet that monthly sales criteria?
The criteria you saw was for a specific event. Okay? What we welcome is even idea before business and onward. And soon I'm planning with some universities an SME Scale-Up Junior for people that don't even have the idea yet. So it can apply. RM will share the link or the number of the SME Scale-Up group, which you can connect with them, and we would love to see you in any of the events. We would love to see all of you in the events, actually. So just the ones that are planning to go rich and become billionaires.
All right, thank you so much. I'm here. I'm already talking, so I'll look at my direction. All right. So thank you so much. It's very interesting listening to you. And more importantly, to see the passion with which you are driving SME scale-up in Nigeria. I want you to take a look at our ecosystem and tell me, what do you see in the next 5 years? I heard you when you spoke about change coming to disrupt what we are doing. Do you see those changes coming so soon, 5 years? Judging from the macroeconomics of Nigeria, are the scale really interested in coming to us? That's one. The second one is a contribution, and I want my colleagues to listen very well. Pharmacy Council of Nigeria is interested in registering aggregator platforms for online, because I saw your slide on tech and how we can come together, partner together, and create solutions that work for all of us. So because we are now coming together to work together, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria are ready to register aggregator platforms. And what are aggregator platforms? They're like Jumia. They are like Konga. So they are ready to register such platforms so that pharmacies who are interested can now go and place their shops, in quotes, in it. And I tell you that ACPN ourselves already has an aggregator platform where all of us can host our website, so that anybody looking for pharmacy in Nigeria need not look any further but to our side, because the other ones will be in minority. How many of us are taking advantage of that? We have solutions in terms of the procurement system in Nigeria that we have done for the past 2 years, so that if all of us order from that platform, nobody will look elsewhere and other platform will be discredited. How many of us are willing to do that? We have inventory solutions for community pharmacy in Nigeria. You don't need to pay much money. Just come on the board, and then maybe with a token of our 3,000 naira, you can get on board. So what I'm telling you is that solutions are provided, but the willingness to use those solutions are lacking. I don't know how to solve that problem. Thank you.
That's a separate thing that needs lots of deep diving to answer that. So I would not be able to answer now. But you asked about my view about global change coming. It's no secret that Europe is in Wahala. US now is going into Wahala. All the world is going, and all the world is looking at Africa as the next biggest opportunity. And when we talk Africa, this is Nigeria. So if I own a global chain of pharmacies, I would come to Nigeria tomorrow. But that being said, we need, as we say, to hope for the best and plan for the worst. If you are setting your plans, plan as if all global chains are coming next year. If they don't come, and we hope they don't, it will be a benefit. Your business will be 10 times better than if you did not plan.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your educative lecture. And
My pleasure.
And what you do. My area of concern is in the area of trustworthiness, because we mentioned partnership, and I'm a believer of partnership. And I've been advocating that. And there is even a project that we are doing currently in distribution that we're asking members to contribute so that we have a solid business to do. But there is one area of trustworthiness. Because our people, they always cite past experiences of how the partnership failed. And I always say that the fact that one partnership failed does not mean others cannot work. You have failed marriages that have been happening, but people still get married. So what can you suggest? Those of us that believe in this partnership, what can you suggest that we can do to break out of this trustworthiness issue? Thank you.
Again, a very extremely important question. I thought about it a lot. I discussed it with the chairman a lot. We need to understand first what we do, what we don't do. If you are looking for a partnership with all the pharmacies in Nigeria, it will never happen. The most important part is if we understand that 20 pharmacies joining hands together are much stronger than 20 individuals, then you need to find those right 20 pharmacies. Failure is never a measure. I showed you my failure. Was I supposed to commit suicide and die then? No, I kept repeating and repeating and repeating, and look where I am now. If we have a group that are interested, I told the chairman I can also be part of it and help facilitate doing it in the right manner. So this, I'm available also. Free of charge. My sister there will not be paying anything. Any other questions? Thank you very much. It was such a pleasure being
Please
with
put
you.
your hands together for Ziad Maloouf.
Now, wow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ziad.
Sorry, please, the number is on the screen for as many of us that want to sign up for the SME Scale-Up. Please, the number is on the screen.